D. Scallywags. I've got something serious to talk to you guys about today, and there's really no easy way of doing this, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm dying.
Wait, what? Are you serious?
No, but if I was, this is the way I'd like to go.
Oh, for the love of all that's holy. Today on the show.
He really hit me. Good morning, Scallywag. Sorry about that.
Thursday.
But today we're talking about something that could easily become a somewhat of a heavy emotional type thing. So we wanted to kind of keep it light, and because this is, when you get down to it, really kind of a light topic.
Yeah.
But we're talking funerals today, but not just your average everyday funeral. I mean, when you go, there's a number of routes you can go. You can go the traditional route, the church, the funeral home, that type of thing. They have drive-through funerals now.
They do. You drive up, hit the little bars, it dings, and the curtains open up for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, or you can stop, hit Taco Bell on your way in there, and then roll on through and sit there like,
Emmanuel Willie's
looks like he's sleeping. Going about your day.
Be careful
or you
where
can do
you
what
fall
these people
asleep, though.
This is true.
See
Monday, if you haven't already. Yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, these guys, they took it a step further. They did something. Basically, these are just people that said goodbye in the most epic of ways, and subtle things, simple things, not just like I want as much pomp and circumstance as possible at the funeral and everything like that. Nothing by those means. But these are, well, you'll see what we're talking about here. But in the meantime, you should be thinking, because I think we should wrap this up by talking about what we would like.
Yeah, no, I agree.
For our final, our final send-off. So our first one here, and unfortunately we don't have the backstory on most of these. I mean, we'll give what details we do have, but only being able to find the full backstory behind only one or two of them, we didn't feel like it was right to say, well, this guy died of this and on this day and blah 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 blah, but only do that on one or two of them. So we're going to keep it simple for all of them, just to keep it a little more uniform. But our first one here, this is a 4-year-old child, and obviously at 4 years old and even at 40 years old, love Star Wars. So he wanted a Star Wars funeral, knew that he was going to die, and his parents came through for him. As you can see there, very, very nice, very tasteful, and definitely have to be...
those are some really good costumes.
They've got to be 501.
They've got to be 501. Yeah. And, there's garrisons nationwide, or worldwide even, for the 501st. And guys, hey, kudos to you for stepping up in a bad... Not necessarily a bad situation, but definitely a very heartfelt situation.
Well, I mean, for something that, they say that there's nothing more painful than the loss of a child. And for his parents, knowing that he wanted a Star Wars funeral, and then to see that these guys came through, and, just for 4 guys to walk next to a carriage, and that's all they did. But I'm sure that being able to see that as a parent who's just lost their child, to say we gave him what he wanted. Yeah. I mean, that has got to give you some kind of peace.
I mean, he had an honor guard. There you go.
Absolutely.
Done deal.
So guys, props to you. Big time.
Big time.
Our next one here, and you see a number of these. This is actually from Oklahoma City. The picture itself is taken outside of a funeral home, and it was the funeral for a homeless Navy vet who had passed away that had no family. No friends to speak of, but word got out about the funeral of this lonely man, and people came together to pay their last respects. I mean, especially for a vet. You see that type of thing.
You see that a lot of times, yeah. Where vets don't have anybody, or you can't find anybody because they don't have any ID on them. But just the community rallying around a vet and coming out like that was amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then, like I said, there's a number of these type of things out there. Up next, we've actually got when we see those guys from the 501st earlier, we can tell that they're definitely better type costumes as opposed to just something that was picked up at Party City. But this one is going to be a little kind of other end of that spectrum. It's a family that honored a 5-year-old named Brandon Denton. He was a cancer victim. As you can see, the pallbearers all portrayed superheroes there. Now I say it's the other end of the spectrum. So obviously they probably had to get costumes at the last minute. Probably didn't know any cosplayers or what have you. But that's not the point. The point is I'm sure the child really loved superheroes, and that's kind of why they went that route. And the point is they did something that he loved. And
yeah, they stepped up big time.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the point there. It's not about the quality. It's about the point and the purpose behind what you're doing. So up next, and this one kind of hits a little close to home for me. This is it's the young daughter of a UPS worker had passed away in a small town, and the co-workers of the parent showed up to support support their friend and their friend's loss at the funeral. So you can see all the trucks lined up there, and it looks like it just goes on for miles.
Yeah.
Would love to know exactly how many trucks there were there. You can.
I'm just
throw
listening.
in.
Here's the deal. I mean, I've seen it happen in retail. I've worked retail for 20 years, where a coworker dies, and the particular store is a lot of people want to go because this is a long-time associate or it's a very well-liked associate. So you pull in a bunch of other people from other stores to do your job while you're out paying your respects.
And that's why I say it kind of hits a little close to home for me, as when my dad passed away back in 2002, that's exactly what happened. I mean, you had area managers and employees from other stores that came down and worked at his store, stocked shelves, ran registers, to where pretty much everyone had the day off to go to the funeral. And I had never seen anything like that before in my life at that point. His store even went as far as to put up a plaque out front, out in the drive, with his name on it and everything. And then a drunk driver actually ended up running that over, but that's beside the point. But so love to see things like that.
Now this one kind of chokes me up a little bit because you always hear about the fallen officers, the fallen first responders getting a big deal, but you often forget those canines. Those are officers too, and those are partners that are just as difficult to replace as a human partner. And to see this one is in August of 2014, K9K died after being stabbed by a burglary suspect.
It's Kai.
Is it Kai? It's Kai.
Yeah,
Kai. But they gave him a complete, full-color funeral, just like they would for a fallen officer.
He is just another officer.
He's just another officer, yep.
And then you see that all across the board as well. I mean, they may not be human officers, but they are officers.
They are officers,
just like anyone else. Yep. Let's see. And this is kind of another one. This is actually from Brazil, but this is the funeral of sorry, it doesn't give the. Oh wait, it does. Okay, yeah. His name was Wagner
Figueroa de Lima. De Lima.
And I know we're butchering that.
We're butchering it. We apologize.
Was killed in a motorcycle accident, and his horse Sereno came to the funeral. You can see him lay his head there on the casket of his owner and his best friend. So I mean,
anybody that says pets and animals that you're with a long time don't have personalities and hearts, you're lying to yourself.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, kind of getting back to some of the more lighthearted, fun type, just awesome things.
I'm going to do that.
Have you ever seen a funeral from Scotland? Here's what it looks like.
Or Ireland, for that matter.
Yeah, or Ireland, for that matter. Yep. That's what it looks like. Just right bastard right there on the side of the casket.
Letters.
Or the hearse, rather, not the casket. But
that'd be kind of fun if they had it on the casket,
actually,
too.
I think that is on the casket.
That may be on the casket. That may be, you know what that is?
It's
I think that's that greenery.
The flower. I think
the flowers,
that's the flower arrangement. Yeah. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Love that.
And that is either someone who just genuinely cared about that guy, or just or it was his own idea.
It might have been his own idea, yeah.
I refuse to believe that someone didn't, they just didn't like him or whatever. But no, that's awesome. But and there's a number of other ways that you can, say goodbye to somebody that doesn't even have to be at the funeral itself. This one is actually from Chick-fil-A. A Chick-fil-A corporate had sent an entirely new staff to cover the day at a local store so that the original employees could attend the funeral of the owner, who everyone really loved. And they actually set a place for him at the table that he always sat at, just kind of with a note, kind of saying goodbye.
I've seen that at a lot of restaurants where you've got...
Actually, I think there's another one of these on the list.
Yeah, where you've got an owner or even patron.
A regular patron.
Like a regular patron, yeah.
Yeah. So, remember, things like that. And there's another one of those that comes up here in a little bit. This next one actually happened here in town.
Yep.
Yeah, this is right here in Springfield.
This is right here in Springfield.
And this was... I mean, this made national news, but it was...
This was bad on top of... This was worst case scenario that went bad.
Oh, God, yeah. A girl was kidnapped. There were actually witnesses to the kidnapping. They tried to chase the guy down, weren't able to catch up with him or whatever, but the cops were able to get with him pretty quickly. However, whenever he learned that the cops were coming, he did kill the girl.
Kill the little girl.
And her name was Haley Owens. And so this was just a few years ago, right back here in Springfield. But Westboro Baptist Church put out that they were going to be coming to picket at her funeral.
And then 10,000 people pretty much blocked off the entire strip.
Covered the town.
Covered the town. And this is one of those cases where social media actually outpaced the police.
And Chapo and I were actually talking about this a couple of days ago where I remember, and he and I both said the same thing, that I remember that I was going to go to that. And for some reason, I couldn't go. And I don't remember if I ended up working that night or what it was.
You may have been at work that night. I think it was a Saturday night that this was planned.
I really don't remember.
I remember seeing videos from friends down there, and just the sea of people. To see a community come together like that is amazing. I'm sorry that it had to happen due to bad circumstances.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got back to another one of those where the restaurant had kind of done something for one of their patrons. They actually took a man's business card and made it into an actual card that everyone signed, and they sat it out. Basically, the family all went to this Applebees after the funeral, which was a place where he frequented, and they had turned the business card into a card. The whole staff signed the card, and they set it out on his spot with his drink, and it was there waiting whenever the family all came in. So
it's the little touches like that. I mean, you wouldn't think that these are really big. I mean, some of them are big, like the Star Wars.
I mean,
but
even that, like it's four guys in a costume walking around this thing.
Guys that make these so much better than what they could have been.
Right. Let's see what we got next. Like simple. You want to talk about simple? This one's simple. This was a guy that had passed away. He was the founder of Schralper's Union, which is a community for people who are into skateboarding. The funeral home actually hung up signs on their parking, parking area sign that said "Today only skateboarding is permitted in the parking lot." So
it's those little things that make you feel like you're at home.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays you can't, unless it's pretty much like a skate park, you can't legally skateboard anywhere. But for these guys to be like, you know what, today there's going to be skateboarders here. I'm sure they're going to want to skateboard because it's this guy.
They're going to do it. Let them do it.
Let them do it.
Yep.
Simple.
Let them do it.
You just hang up a sign and allow something to happen. So more costumes. This was at obviously a little girl's funeral. And we don't really have a lot of detail on this other than it was just a little girl's funeral. But instead of having people like the 501st come down or having their superheroes, she's got her own heroes, Disney princesses.
She's got her princesses. Yep.
And, I mean, I see something like that, and it chokes me up a little bit thinking about, God forbid if Lex was, that would be something that would have to happen. I mean, it would have to. Of course, it would have to be like Disney princesses and Pennywise, but...
Why don't you just
match it up? My daughter's kind of
twisted. How about a Pennywise Belle?
I feel like Pennywise would be more of a Merida.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Plus the red hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
A few more of these. A local funeral home that basically there was a man that had his final wishes to have a sign out front that says, "Now showing, Dave's here."
Yeah.
Simple things, guys. Simple things,
It's nothing big.
Huge in the end. Now I want to know the story behind this one.
I do. I want to have a story behind it. There's got to be a story behind it.
Big wind.
A little bit of wind.
Hopefully that's not. We got the windsock on today. So. But this was out at a lake. I mean, or a river or something. But I mean, you see a ton of boats there. It was a big paddle out for a man's funeral.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously, just someone who loved boating. But I mean, was he maybe buried on an island, or just was he cremated and put out to sea?
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that
that's
looks awesome. A 10-year-old boy who was killed by a tree branch during a Little League game. So on the way to the funeral, you had the other Little League teams that all lined up on the route of the funeral. And see, they joke, but I pulling these clips. I am the poster child Pisces. Okay, I get emotional looking at touching things, and so I will admit that one got me. That one got me. Oh, and to wrap it all up, and this one is a personal, close to my heart for here. Odorous Ungrus, Arungus. What did I say? Ungrus?
Ungrus, yeah. It's
Odorous Arungus, yes.
Arungus.
He had, when the lead singer of Gwar, when he had passed away, that he wanted a Viking funeral. And by God, they gave him one. And I know that's like very illegal.
Yeah.
But by God, they gave him one. And it was epic. Absolutely epic. So, what would yours be?
Actually, until I recently turned 40, mine was to be burned on a funeral pyre. Kind of heroic Viking-esque style. Big blaze, it all going up. Now, it doesn't bother me. I just put me in a pine box and bury me at the foot of a tree.
What's your favorite golf course?
Yeah, there you go.
We'll drop you in the lake.
So they can dredge the bodies up when they fish the balls. What the hell?
Fill up the 18th hole with his ashes.
I got the finger.
I say mine is illegal, and people think that I'm joking when I say this, but I'm not. I legitimately want to be stuffed and auctioned off to the highest bidding non-family member. And I say non-family because I know that if I didn't specify that a family member would buy me just so they could bury me.
I will buy you for a stale corn chip.
A stale Frito.
Corn
a stale Frito.
Yeah. Gluten-free.
Gluten-free. There you go.
Low sodium too.
Yeah. Oh, I got a better question. I'll put you on the spot here in a second.
Okay.
This is one I don't have an answer for either. So yeah.
So the way I want to
Guys from all screens says.
funeral to be, quote marks, I want to be preserved until New Year's Eve, and then I want to be dropped from a helicopter in the middle of Times Square right as the ball hits one.
That's
cool
not.
to,
That's not illegal or anything.
It'd be cool to load your ashes into fireworks and fire them off.
They actually do that.
I know.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, see, but that's legal.
That's true.
Mine is
Could
not.
do like Tupac's friends did. Tupac was cremated, then his friends sprinkled his ashes over marijuana and smoked him. That way he's a part of them forever.
I know people who would do that for me.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I would remove a piece of your DNA and I would put it in me.
Don't say
Actually,
that.
no.
My DNA's already in you.
I thought he was
half
talking to
of
me. Oh.
Well, if that's what you want.
But not only is mine illegal, but it would also cause mass hysteria.
Yeah, that's true. So, put you on the spot here. If I died suddenly and had no official plan, what would you do as an epic way to say goodbye to me?
And shoot you out of a cannon into the Atlantic.
That actually is not a bad idea.
But not cremated.
No.
Just me, flopping around.
Just arms going everywhere.
Well, make sure to cut all your tendons and muscles first so you really get
So just ragdoll effect.
Boom! He would have been so proud of it. Oh God, he's gonna hit a boat. Worst week Wednesday.
See, no, what's bad is I said that while eating a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
So, guys, if there's any examples of
he's not even
awesome
gonna answer.
or
Yeah,
cool... No, I actually like the answer.
Hey, that's plagiarism. Take your own.
Yeah.
Then fine, I'm going to load you into a rocket and see how far I can get you.
I bet Jupiter.
Oh, wait.
It would
I
have-
didn't tell him it was going to be a bomb.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a bomb, all right. Well, you know, now that I think about it, I really don't even know. I mean, he would obviously have to do something with Godzilla, obviously. I mean, like have you cremated and your ashes put into a Godzilla statue of some sort, and then do the show with it. It'll just be this statue of Godzilla sitting here with D in it, and then just me talking to this statue.
We're like 80 years old, dude.
Yeah.
I already know what I want to do with him whenever he dies.
Okay.
I'm going to cremate him and have him pressed into a diamond. I'm going to wear the diamond on either a ring, a bracelet, or a necklace. Probably a necklace.
Cool.
That way you're always close to my heart.
So what would you guys do? Put it down in
It's
the
not
comments
creepy at
below.
all.
Not at all, no. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
You're here with the YouTube, so keep doing those YouTube things like the liking, the sharing, the commenting, and the subscribing. And right there.
Right there on the Facebook. Make sure you send us a message. You can get one of these.
Yeah.
Just shoot us a private message on the Facebook page letting us know what size, what colors you would like. $20 for the short sleeve, $22 for the long, or you can get one of our fabulous hoodies for $25.
You wouldn't need a hoodie on a day like today, but...
Not so much, but...
The breeze a little bit,
Maybe in the evening, sure,
Yeah,
as the sun goes down. So, we'll see you guys.
Speaking of the sun going down.
Hi, I'm Hemlock from Springfield, and here's your Russian clip for the day.
Hey guys, thanks for watching that video. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and if you liked what you see, go ahead and click on our faces to go ahead and subscribe to get all of our Monday through Friday stuff.
Indeed, and here's a couple of links down below that you can follow to watch more shows like it. Tons of great content right here at Scallywag Productions. We'll see you tomorrow.